All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. Thank you for thank you for joining, wherever you're joining from. I think we're all in, most of the people I'm seeing here are Nigerians as well. But I'm safe saying I'm safe saying good evening. All right, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking out the time to be part of this webinar. I can see Faith. Hello, Faith. Good evening. Thank you for joining. All right, our speaker is already in the house already. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us. All right, we're looking forward to a great time. Yeah, I want to let you guys know that you are not here by mistake, and this is not going to be a waste of time at all. This is not going to be a waste of your time. Yeah, whether you are an undergraduate, whether you're a graduate looking for direction as regards what next to do. Perhaps you've been applying for jobs, perhaps you don't even know what to do, you don't even know what career path to take. You're just looking for um, you're just looking for insights, looking for tips that can help you adequately position yourself in the job market, just like the theme of the webinar states, the career game, learn the rules, know the rules, win the game rather, know the rules, win the game. Yeah, so just like the theme of the webinar states, learn the rules, win the game. So there are actually rules, or there are actually tips that we can have as people or as job seekers that can actually help us position ourselves well in the job market. So our speaker is definitely going to shed more light as to that. Yeah, so within the next 2 to 5 minutes, I just want to give room for more people to join so that we can have a fuller house before we start in earnest. So once again, you are all welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. And just like to serve as a reminder, perhaps as the meeting goes on, if you have any questions, if you have questions, yeah, pertaining to what the speaker would say, or the things that the speaker says, or perhaps there are questions that you even have even prior to this meeting, prior to this webinar, you can just note them down so that at the end of, when our speaker is done speaking, she can address your questions that you have. So, all right, so the next, we should kick off in the next, say, 3 minutes. Yes, before then I crave your indulgence. All right, I can see. Okay, Faith. Hello, Faith. How are you doing? You can just for those who are joining, you can just drop in the chat section where you are joining from and what you hope to learn, what you hope to gain. You can also let us know what you do. Yeah, what career path are you presently on? Or if you are still in school, you can let us know. If you are done with school, you can let us know. If you're already actively in the job market, perhaps there's something you are doing, like a career person, you could also let us know what form of career you are doing, what you are doing. I personally came, I've not even introduced myself. Imagine that. So sorry about that. My name is Badebo, Adiwale Badebo. Yes, and I am, I do many things. My primary career is, I'm a graphic designer. Yeah, I'm a graphic designer, and also I work with Ultimate Solutions. Yes, Ultimate Solutions is actually the mother body that is powering this webinar. Yeah, so Ultimate Solutions, we also have an HR blog. So it's the Ultimate Solutions HR blog that is powering this webinar. So I just want to give a shout out to Sir Alex. Yes, he's also on the call as well. Sir Alex is our director. So thank you so much, sir, for putting this together, and I'm sure that it would truly benefit all those who are logged in, all those who log in and follow through. All right, like I said, my name is Badibo, so you can, and I'm a graphic designer, so you can also as well drop, okay, I can see a chat, someone has dropped something. All right, Faith is saying hi. Hi, Faith. Thank you so much for the comments. You can also let me know where you're joining from, and also what you do, what you expect to get, learn or gain, yeah, from this webinar. All right, but I'm just using this moment to buy time for those who are perhaps late. And like I said, also, if you have questions, you can note them down as the meeting is going. You can note them down so that At the end, when the speaker is done speaking, you can ask your questions. Yes, because I mean, I'm sure many of us have questions. As like myself, I have a lot of questions because before I even currently, there have been several occasions where so many people have can relate to this story where you maybe as you finish school, okay, you're thinking, okay, what next can I do? Then you think of, okay, let me create a CV, let me start applying for jobs. I realize that the more you apply, the more the more you don't get a response. Like me now, I have like let me say I have close to 4 or 5 different CVs for one specific role because I felt like maybe perhaps there's something wrong in the way I'm drafting my CVs. Is it my CVs? Is it what I put in the CVs that isn't making my CV stand out? But I believe there's actually more to securing a job than just having a CV, just building a CV. Yeah, because even besides the CV, even if your CV is accepted, even if you are contacted for an interview, you still have the interview. Yeah, you still have to do the interview. So that's actually another phase. So many people scale through the CV stage, but when they get to the interview, they begin to mess up or they don't meet the criteria. All right, they don't meet the criteria that the recruiters are looking for. So that's one of the things. Those are the things that we actually want to learn, things we want to know today. Because our guest speaker, is actually an HR specialist. So I believe she'll be able to give us more insight as to what recruiters are actually looking for in maybe in all right. Yeah, what recruiters are actually looking for when they put out vacancies or when they put out a role for people to apply for. So that way you are not just shadow boxing. Yeah, you actually know what and how to apply, know how to apply to in order to position yourself such a way that you would stand out and also meet the criteria that they are looking for. Yeah, all right. It's almost 5:10. So once it's 5:10, we will just have to kick off. Yes, but fortunately, this meeting is being recorded. So I believe for those who have registered and are not here, they will still get to watch this video because it's being recorded. But I trust that even as we go on in the meeting, they would join us. Right. So in the next 1 minute, um, I will be calling up our speaker. I'll start with our citation. I'll start with a citation. I believe our speaker is ready, but I'll start with our citation. So once it's 5:10, I will kick start.
Hello, we can hear you again.
Yes, sorry, I was just trying to share my screen so I could share the citation. Oh, are you going to help us with that, sir?
Okay, all right.
Would you be able to? All right, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, I can see Farouk Akintaye. Thank you so much, Farouk, for joining us. Thank you for joining us. You are just in time. Yes, we've not started in earnest, but in the next few seconds, we should. So thank you so much for joining. All right, I also forgot to say that I believe that we're not just here just to listen alone. Yeah, the best way to gain from any meeting such as this is to actually have your jotter and your pen with you so that even as the session is going on, you can note things down and always refer to them. Yeah, that's the culture we actually have to have. And just follow along as I read. All right. Iremide Oluwashimilori Ayanbajo is a human resource professional with a strong passion for youth empowerment and career clarity. With hands-on experience in talent acquisition and people operations, she brings real-world insights to help young professionals navigate the world of work with confidence. So the mission is simple: to share the kind of honest, practical career guidance she wishes she had when starting out. Guidance that has equipped and empowered her throughout her journey through career coaching and youth-focused initiatives. Iremide is committed to helping graduates make informed decisions and step into the workplace with purpose. So with the clapping ovation, if you can, help me welcome our speaker rather, our speaker for today's webinar, in person of Miss Iremide. Thank you so much, Ma. Over to you. Hope you can hear me. Hi, Ma. Are you there? Hello, Ma. Can you hear me? Or can everybody hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hope, hope I'm
Yeah,
audible.
we can
Okay,
hear you, but we're
okay.
not getting any feedback from
All right, Miss Remide, can you hear me? If you can, or perhaps are you having any issues with your mic or video? Sorry, I pray for indulgence, please. Let's just get a minute while she sets up.
All right. Hi, Gbadebo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, clearly. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I don't know what happened with the speaker, but it's great that you can hear me now. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Alexander. Good evening, Faith. Good evening, Farouk. Thank you so much for having me on this webinar today. It's a privilege, it's a pleasure to be here to just share a little bit of gems that I can. And I am sure that we are all going to learn something from this session. We're going to be leaving with insights and we're going to be making informed decisions after this session. Right. So like Badebo rightly said during the introduction, my name is Iremide and I work as a human resources professional. Currently I specialize in talent acquisition, so that means that I do a lot around recruitment and working with organizations to attract talent. And that would also mean that I do a lot around determining whether a job seeker is a good talent, right? It's a good fit for an hire. So I want to believe that I have, quality information to share in the course of this webinar. I know that there's a lot to learn about the job market, about how to strategically position yourself to, win in the job market that we might not be able to cover in the course of this session, but I'm hoping that I at least get to touch a few important things. So I'm just going to be sharing my screen so that we can work with a PowerPoint presentation that I already prepared. Okay, please let me know if you can see my screen. Badebo, can you see my screen? Hi, everybody. Can anybody see my screen?
yes, please. We can see your screen.
All right. All right, great. So we're just going to move to what we have for today. So today we're going to be talking about career game, how to learn the rules, the importance of learning the rules, and how to win the game. Now I know that likening career to a game might not exactly be something that anybody may be expecting because we probably think that, oh, it's career and so we're not here to play games. But there's a context to these things, and I'm sure that during the course of this webinar, we will get to understand how truly the job market or the career ladder is a game that needs to be studied. You need to understand the rules, you need to understand the system, you need to understand the standards so that you'll be able to strategically position yourself to be successful at it. So now let's just um, start by understanding the fact that every game has rules, right? It is important that you learn them so that you can win. I think for me, the hardest game, I mean, I've probably not come across all of the games that people play, but I think the one that I found the most difficult is chess. And I really don't know. Every now and then, people are appreciating Tunde Onokoya for hitting a lot of milestones in the game of chess, but I am intelligent in a lot of things, but not with not with chess. I really struggled with understanding the points. Like, what are they playing? Why are they moving it? Why is this one the queen? Where's the king? I mean, I've always been, very confused as to how to navigate through chess. And in that kind of situation, when I have the opportunity to play chess, best believe that I can't win because I don't know what it entails. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know why they're moving certain things. I don't have an understanding of how the system works, right? So one thing that we need to know is that knowing the rules of a game or a system gives you strategy, it gives you foresight and a fair chance to win. So, in terms of chess, I don't really know how to, navigate through. So, this will mean that because I don't understand the system and the rules, most times, or if not all of the time, the moves that I will make in the course of the game will be wrong. I will make poor moves and I will miss a lot of opportunities, and that will not give me a fair chance to win. Now, in bringing it home to the space of the job market and career, I think it's also important that anybody that is going into the job market should understand what is happening in the job market, should understand the standard, understand the systems, understand the language of the job market, because this would actually give you room to be able to strategize. It will give you room to be able to have foresight, be able to predict certain things, and also a fair chance to win. Because if I'm playing chess with somebody that knows fully how to play chess, I don't have a fair chance to win. I don't stand a chance to win. It's very important that you are very well informed about the standard, the system, and the rules, and everything that the job market entails, right? So the first thing I would want us to establish is that for young graduates, there's a need to do a mindset shift. And sometimes it's the truth, sometimes it's not, but you just have to pick your own truth and work with it, run with your own truth. If you ask any random person in Nigeria, they'll tell you, oh, unemployment rate is very high, graduates are at home, you need to get a skill, go and learn how to make hair, go and learn how to do this because there are not jobs outside. And this is true. People that say things like this, they have lived experiences as evidences. I remember when I graduated from the university and I had some months before NYC and I just wanted to work. So I reached out to a couple of people, and I mean, it wasn't even out of ambitious course. I just didn't want to be idle. I wasn't even thinking of career progression or anything at that point. So I just wanted to do something with my time at that time. And I remember reaching out to somebody who I asked him if he could help me get a job. And he just started talking to me about how I should learn a skill. Oh, you already know how to make hair now. So just go and do, go and learn it, go and upgrade your skill in that area, because he has about three elder siblings that are graduates and they are all at home. They are not working. So, I mean, he was just trying to let me know that trying to look for a job is not exactly feasible in Nigeria as it seems. And yes, I understand what he was saying. He was coming from a place of love and also out of lived experiences, because definitely he has his siblings as, evidence for his truth. But even right about then, as a fresh graduate, I knew and I made the conscious decision not to hold on to that as my own truth. So I think it's very important that everyone on this call, I want to believe that, we are fresh, people here are probably fresh graduates or people looking to enter into the job market. I think the very first thing that you need to do is to actually have a mindset shift. Shift your mind from a place of scarcity to possibility. That's the very first thing, because the moment you concede to what people are saying about the employment rate in Nigeria, you are subject to it. So it's important that you, within your mind, know that there is space for you, right? You can find a place as long as people are hiring, as long as their organization, as long as some people have jobs, I will get a job. And it's as simple as that. But if you decide to follow what everybody is saying, you might just operate from that place of scarcity, right? So the first thing is to ensure that you know and you believe within yourself that this is not impossible. It's not impossible for me to get a job. And so, because of that, I am going to get a job. Now, another thing that we might want to talk about is, as much as people say Nigeria unemployment rate is high, I can tell you from my lived experience as a talent acquisition specialist that recruiters go through a lot. It takes so much time, so much effort, so much actually, to get talent to fill in roles. I know there are times that we work on certain roles as little as accountants, and you can think of it and say, oh, there are accountants everywhere. That cannot be so difficult. But as little as accountant, there are times that we work on it for close to 5 months before we find somebody suitable for the role, right? So even from my own experience, I can tell you for a fact there are openings. There are definitely openings. There are definitely job opportunities waiting for people, and a lot of them that are not even finding the right talent. And according to statistics, too, we also see that Nigerians' unemployment rate is decreasing due to increasing informal jobs. So because they've sold the story to everybody that there's no job, people are doing their own things. We have entrepreneurs everywhere. People are commercializing their skills. So informal jobs are rising and people are putting structure to it. So say I know how to make I start up a salon, and then I want to hire customer support, I want to hire a janitor. Like that, we are gradually decreasing the unemployment rate in Nigeria. But then formal sectors are still struggling to find skilled talents, and that is the truth. I tell you that for a fact. Even surveys from Jobberman and LinkedIn are showing a growing skill gap, especially in areas like tech, digital marketing, and project management. Now, in the side of the job seekers, they think that there are no jobs. Recruiters are not getting back to me, I'm not hearing anything. Nobody's reaching out to me. I failed an interview, this, that. But on the side of the recruiters, we also have our own pain. We're not getting talents, we're not getting people that can actually fill the roles that we have. So let's just move further. Let's talk about what is really going on in Nigeria's labor market. So when I started, I made mention of the fact that we need to understand the labor market, understand the rules, understand the system, and know how to enter into it. I think when you want to go into the job market, it's very important that you actually learn what is going on in the job market, what is going on in the labor market. Let's take, for instance, people that were trained in the use of typewriters, right? Back then it was hot cake. People that could use it, they were probably 1% of the 1%. But if you look at it now, if you are sending me a CV and you're telling me I'm skilled in using typewriter, that doesn't in any way contribute to what I'm looking for or what I would even be looking for. So it means that we need to understand the trend of the job market. We need to know what is going on. And not everybody is informed when it comes to the dynamics of the job market. Not everybody is actually taking time, to intentionally understand what is going on. Some people have the mindset that they can get a job, but then they are not putting the right effort into it. I know when, because I studied a course in medical sciences, and the point I decided to transition was when I reached out to somebody, because the course I studied, I have to do internship, then get licensed to be able to practice. And that internship is like for 1 year, and you literally have to do a lot of things around getting internship placements. I spoke to somebody that I graduated years before me to just ask her about internship, and she told me, oh, it took her about 3 years to actually get an internship placement. And then she did her internship for 1 year. And okay, fine, she's done. So I'm like, okay. what's going on now? And still the same story. I don't have a job. And then she was encouraging me to learn a tech skill because this thing is not really working. Everybody's doing tech now, so maybe we should go and learn tech. And I I didn't really I didn't take that in good faith. That I just didn't really understand why will I do so much and then I still have to go and do tech that another person studied. What happened to what I studied? So I think that was where I got to the realization that in as much as what I studied is still very relevant in today's time, there's not so much space for us. The competition is very stiff. So that was what took me to the drawing board. That was what made me to actually look at the job market. What is really going on? Who are the people that they are hiring? What is happening? Where can I find space? So I think it's very important that we all come to that point where we can actually take time to study what is going on in the labor market. What are the things that are going on? What is buzzing? So from research and statistics, I have been able to pinpoint some areas, industries, and roles that are currently buzzing in the job market right now. So we all know tech is the in thing. Tech is what everybody's talking about. The tech bros and the tech sis, they're the ones that are milking Nigerian money right now, right? So in terms of industry, tech industry is widespread. Tech industry is everywhere. And then we also know that the creative and digital economy space is also doing a lot of waves. Everybody's an influencer, everybody's a content creator, content strategist. You see when people introduce themselves, oh, I'm a content creator, I'm a creative genius, I'm a video editor, da, 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 da. The creative and digital economy is actually doing, a lot of numbers as well as remote roles. So, right now we have a lot of organizations doing offshore recruitment. That's like companies abroad are recruiting people from other companies. So there's a lot of remote things going on. And we've also seen, change management happen in Nigeria's labor market after COVID. People, just adapting to the remote work condition. So we have a lot of openings for remote roles, customer support, virtual assistant, things that doesn't require people to be working on site. Then the renewable energy and fast moving consumer goods, because definitely they are not going anywhere. We need these components to actually thrive in society. So the buzzing industries are not limited to these, right? But these are the key ones. So if I'm making research and I find out that these are the buzzing industries, the next thing I want to do is how do I fit in into these spaces? How? Because this is what people are doing now. This is what is selling now. Not that they are no longer doctors or lawyers or engineers or zoologists as you may think, but then these are the things that have openings. These are the things that are currently buzzing. So how do I actually contribute? So in terms of roles as well, people are recruiting a lot when it comes to project management, product management as well, because we already established that tech industry is buzzing. So tech companies are constantly producing products, so they need product managers. They also need a lot of people that are the moving parts of the production of these products that they have. All right, so data analysis too is hot cake at the moment because right now, Nigeria, the whole world is data driven. Data is everywhere. Information has to be processed. Data has to be processed every now and then. Decisions have to be data driven. So data analysis is also doing a lot of numbers. Sales is that oil well at the moment right now because there are a lot of organizations. Yes, they might know their onions, they might have really good products, but they need people to actually put these products out there and convert it to money, right? Convert it to sales. So every now and then, left, right, and center, people are recruiting for sales. They're looking for people that can drive sales in their organization, right? UI UX is also there, digital marketing. Everybody is trying to, there are online vendors everywhere. Even people that have physical shops are trying to move into the digital space. So there's a lot of things happening in the digital marketing space, as well as HR and talent management. Now, I wouldn't want you to limit yourself to all these roles and these industries. I'm just trying to highlight the ones that are currently buzzing. But it's important that you do your research to understand what is currently happening in the labor market. Then, when you now understand what is going on, it's then important that you now align your own personal values and your own personal goals to see how you can fit into the system, how you can actually create value and join the moving train. Like for instance, like I said, the person that spoke to me recommended that I learn a tech skill. I don't have anything against tech bros or anything, but it's not just for me. I don't want to code. I don't It's not my thing. I don't like it and I don't want it. I mean, it's possible. I mean, right now I'm doing a lot with data analysis because it's important that you constantly upgrade yourself. But I don't see myself being a tech sis or tech whatever. And so my immediate instinct was not to go and learn how to code. It was to actually look into the system and look for how and where I can fit in. So that might be something that you want to do after this session. Make research, know what is going on. There's still a lot of opportunities in different areas. There's some roles that they are looking for people, but then there are just very, very few people that commit themselves to growing in those roles. So it's important that you see, research, weigh these things, and find one that aligns with your values and with your goals. All right, so let's talk about the market language. I don't know if um, we've been following all through. I just really hope that we are still together. I would have loved that this be interactive, but even me, when I'm on calls sometimes or webinars, sometimes I really don't like it when they put me on the spot and say, oh, unmute and say something, because I really just want to listen. So we can just work around that. And then probably after the presentation, we can um, take questions and then we can just ensure that the session is interactive. All right, so I will just move on. Let's talk about the market language. You need to understand that value is the market language. Nigerians are very sentimental people, and that's why we think that when somebody has a carryover, it's village people or the lecturer is wicked or this or that. In actual sense, carryover is not doom. It's not wickedness. It's just the right thing to do. It's just a pointer that for a particular course, I don't think you understand enough. So come back and do it again. It shouldn't breed any bad blood. But that just shows you how sentimental we can be in Nigeria. And also towards the job market too. We can think, oh, this HR is wicked, this person is nepotism, is this they're doing, it's by connection, it's by this, it's by that. But then we have to understand that the market language is actually value. Not that nepotism doesn't occur in our time or that people don't get jobs by connection, but it's important, like I said, that you hold on to your own truth, right? Yes, it does happen. It makes it difficult in a lot of sense, but it's also important that you hold on to your truth and you work with it, right? So the market language is value, and wherever people perceive value, they will give opportunities, they will give money in return. The market rewards value and not pity. Because I'm a graduate, because I graduated with a first class, because I spent the whole night reading when I was in the university, and my roommates were sleeping or vibing or going to the club, I deserve this job. Or because I don't have money, I've not in 3 weeks, I deserve this job, give me this job. The market doesn't respond to that. The market doesn't really care about that. And it doesn't make the employers wicked, it doesn't make them inconsiderate. It's just what it is. If you are just, can put yourself in their shoes, and let's say you want to start up an organization and say a fashion brand. So you're recruiting creative designers, you're recruiting tailors, you're recruiting beaders, you're recruiting, things around that side. And somebody comes to you and says, I really need this job. I cannot press machine. I cannot draw. I don't even know anything about fashion, but I'm suffering, or I'm a graduate, or just give me this opportunity. It doesn't just work like that. You wouldn't want to hire somebody like that because you're going to be paying them and they need to be able to contribute to, you know, your organization's growth and profits basically. At the end of the day, that's what everybody's looking for. They want to make profits because we can only pay you when we have also made profit, right? So it's important that you understand that value is the market's language. The market doesn't respond to PT, the market responds to value, right? So it's very possible that, oh, you finish service, you finish school, you finish service, you applied to different places, there's no job. It happens to the best of us because everybody's looking for a job, right? So it's very possible that you don't get a job almost instantly while others do. But what do you do in situations like that? You learn, you practice, you volunteer, or intern, right? So let's just walk through it. If we have done our research, we have made our decision, and that's one thing that you might need to clarify. There are a lot of people that when they come out, fresh graduates, they're seeking to enter into the job market. You hear them say things like, "I can do any job, anything, just give me, I can do it, just let me learn." But it's good to an extent, but I think that it's also important that you have a vision for yourself. You know what you want to do, what you can do, and what you cannot do. You see, not every job is a good offer for you. There are times that yes, you can be very desperate looking for a job, but then you get into it and you see, no, no, this is not profitable for me. This is not a good offer for me. It doesn't align with my goals. It doesn't align with my values. So it's important that you actually know the things that you stand for. You might not have a defined role, but at least you should have a path. So if I'm saying I want to venture into tech, I might not be able to exactly say I want to do front end, or I want to do UI UX, or I want to do back end, or I want to do DevOps, or I want to do QA. I might not be able to specifically pinpoint what I want to do, but I know that I'm going into tech, right? You might have, say, it's just important that you have a vision for yourself, right? Because if you don't, then you wouldn't even know what to learn. So the first thing you have to do, if there's no job, you've applied to several places, there's no job, what you have to do first is to learn, right? So I want to get a job. I probably want to start up in an administrative space because, well, I don't really know what I want to do, so let me start up with administration, just know how to turn things around, make sure that moving parts are efficient. You want to learn. Okay, first of all, I have a CV, but I'm not getting responses. What is wrong with my CV? You want to make research. What does a standard CV look like? What are people looking for in a CV? Why is my CV not getting attractions? Why am I not getting any responses at all? You want to learn how to carefully, properly curate a CV that can, get somebody's attention. Then apart from learning that, you also want to learn something in line of the kind of roles that you're looking for. So I want to start up with something administrative, say secretary, or just an administrative assistant. You might really want to learn a lot of things around Microsoft Word. Everybody says I'm proficient with Microsoft Word, but a lot of things happen with Microsoft Word. There are a lot of features in Microsoft Word that a lot of people don't even know how to use. So you might want to learn things around there, play with it. If you have time on your hands, use it efficiently. You want to learn about teleconferencing tools, Meet, Zoom, Google Meet. Some people think it's just just join the call, this, that, but if you actually offer the job and you are like a personal assistant and somebody says, or set up a meeting, some people, it becomes a problem because they just think click on the link and we join. But there are features on these teleconferencing apps that were made to make teleconferencing easier. You want to share your screen. Some people don't know how to do that, and they wait for people to teach them. But you see, that's one thing about the job market. There's not so much facilities provided to equip you. You're literally on your own. You have to start off from somewhere, then somebody can perceive your drive and can then hold your hand and take you from there. So it's important that you learn the things that you learn, practice it, put it into practice, try to work around it. Oh, I've learned how to, in theory, I've learned how to do data entry, I've learned how to um, manipulate data, analyze data. How about I try and download the data sheet, work around it, just practice something. Be innovative, think of things in your environment, in your church, within your friendship group, wherever you can find whatever you learn, try and implement it in your day-to-day activities. Those can be captured as projects, right? Volunteer. I don't know why volunteering is not getting a lot of buzz, but it's actually a very strategic way to enter into the job market. You might not be able to enter through graduate training because the assessments are difficult. You might not be able to enter through entry level roles because there are a lot of candidates, right? But people also need volunteers. And sometimes it's off-putting because you might not necessarily have financial rewards to it. So you might be wondering, no, I don't want to do this. I want to be making 300K. So by next year, I can leave my parents' house. But volunteering will give you access to rooms, it will give you access to opportunities to practice, right? And it will open more doors for you when bigger opportunities actually come into place. And internship is also, a very great way to enter into the job market. There are internship openings, and sometimes you have to seek internship yourself. You have to reach out to people, send emails, go to certain organization, and just tell them, I'd like to intern with you. I'd like to learn from you. These are the skills that I have, and this and that. So these are steps that you can put in place. Don't just, wallow in it, just wait somebody somewhere to call you and that. Have your things put together. Don't tell me that you're looking for a job and you don't have CV. You're not, yeah, I wouldn't, I wouldn't take you serious, right? Okay, so let's just move to the next slide. Let's talk about CV. I know that a lot of people want to hear a lot of things around CV. And if I were to talk about CV, I would spend a whole day talking about CVs, because in my lifetime, I think I've gone through more than 1,000 CVs. I've seen different things, different styles, different things that I cannot even start to speak about, right? But I would not go through the nitty-gritties of how to write CVs, or how. I'm just going to highlight on very, very important things, right? So the first thing I want us to know is that you need to understand the standard. A lot of times when you see job openings, they will tell you standards. You cannot be applying for a job in 2025 and be sending CV that is out, that's, is with a format that is outdated. It just tells me clearly that you are not updated with the trends, and you have already failed a criterion for that job. The CV that you're sending to me, you might be very qualified, but if I'm looking at your CV and it doesn't look like the standard, it sends me a message that you are not up to date with industry standards. You don't know what CV is supposed to look like. So how do I then believe that you are committed to learning? Because if you are, you would know that this is not how CV looks like. You would know that you're not supposed to put your full address on your CV. You will know that you're not supposed to put your state of origin, your date of birth, the number of children that you have, the number of exes that you have. I don't need all of this information. They're not relevant for the job. But then you still see them every now and then, and it just sends a message to the recruiter that this person is not up to date with industry standards. You need to understand that your CV has to be standard. It has to be simple, and it has to follow a clear format. I am going to exit this screen and share another window where we can look at some CVs that I have highlighted, and we can all see with our eyes what these things look like. So please, can you confirm to me that you can see the new window that I just shared?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So we're just going to start off with this CV. So I try to block off some details so that we do not expose confidential and personal details. But this is somebody's CV. This is a CV that somebody sent in for a role. Now, put yourself in my shoes. I'm a recruiter and I have about, say, 700 CVs for this particular role. And I see this. Do you think would you want to read this? That should be the question. Would you want to read a CV that is structured like this? Like, there's a lot of information and the layout is not just what I want to see. This is not a standard CV. This person might be very qualified for the role, but believe you me, I am not going to go through the CV. I don't know what is the content, but I'm not going to go through it. And that's not because, oh, I'm trying to discard. It could be because I don't have so much time. I am going to do my best to maximize my time. And also because I may have to, you know, refer these candidates through the CV. And we're going to talk about that. And anybody that's, if I'm sending this to a manager, the manager will even think me too, I'm not serious for sending this kind of CV to him, because how is he supposed to read this? How is he supposed to understand the content of this CV? I think it's important that we all know that recruiters have a lot on their table. They have a lot of CVs to go through. The way you're looking for a job, 10,000 other people too are looking for the same job. So you have to present your CV in such a way that when they look at the first page, it gives them enough go ahead to actually look through it, right? So then let's look at this. Let's look at the next um CV. So let's look at this one. You look at this one, I think, oh, it's better. I mean, it has good layouts, but I also would not want to read this because all of the information is just packed up, right? They are not even properly structured. This is experience, this is the role, this, and this is key responsibility. I don't know what is going on here. There's too much, and I would not even be able to find the key points from this CV. Now, I'm going to show another one, and this is good, right? This is good CV layouts, at least for like entry level. This is good. It can be better, especially with the colors and all of that. It can be better, but this is a CV that I would want to read. I can see your contact details. I can see your objective. I can see your work experience, where you worked, the year, the place that you worked, your role. I can see the things that you did. I can see key terminologies. I can see percentages. I am interested in this CV. I want to read it. I want to know, but it doesn't feel like too much work for me. Do you understand? If this CV is for a sales role and I just look at it, I'm not going through it. I can see sales manager here, sales advisor here. I'm interested because I know, okay, this person is speaking my language, right? But if there's too much going on, the layout is bad, the layout is this, I wouldn't want to read it. I wouldn't want to read it. And even if I read it, right? Even if I read it and I have to refer to somebody else, they will not. Everybody is busy. They don't have that much time. So you might just want to look at your CV by yourself and say, this thing that I'm actually sharing, if I have 3,000 CVs, will I stop to read this CV? Will I stop to actually go through the content of the CV? It's important that you do that. If you are convinced, right, that, oh, that is fine and you can hire yourself with this CV, then maybe you have a very good CV. But if you look at it and you yourself, you know that you will not hire yourself, then you might want to work around it. You might want to ask questions. You might want to make research. And you might want to actually reach out to somebody that's a specialist in that area. Please invest in your career. Just invest. There's not too much money to spend on a good CV. There's if you find somebody that is going to help you write a CV and you know that this person is good, whatever they're charging you is not so much money, because that CV is going to help you at least stand a chance. All right. So another thing you want to do with your CV is to test for suitability. I am a recruiter, and like I already told you, my educational background is in medical sciences. Let's even say I studied human resource management. I don't know what goes on in tech. I don't know what engineering people are doing. But when I want to recruit, I receive a job description that contains the information of the role and specifications. Oh, we need somebody with this year of experience. We need somebody that has worked with um SAP. We need somebody that has worked with ERP systems. We need somebody that has worked with Zoho, their specification. We need somebody that's like in sales now. They say, oh, we need somebody that has worked in B2B sales, B2C sales, things like that. If I'm opening your CV, you might have done all of these things that the client is looking for or the hiring manager is looking for. But if it is not on your CV, there's no way I will know. There's no way I want to know. I can't, if you use other terminologies or, just say, I have worked with different tools, I don't know. And I would not refer you to the hiring manager because your CV is not telling me that you are suitable for the role. Now, it's very important that when you see openings, you apply as fast as you can because, as the recruiters are getting it, they're screening, they're looking through it. But before you send it, what is what doing well? You might want to look at it. You might want to actually understand, okay, these things that are on the job description, is it in my CV? Do I have it? If you're a sales specialist and they say we're looking for somebody with B2B sales, if you are a sales specialist, you should know what that is because it's your terminology. I know this thing because I recruited in that area. If they say me another time, I don't know. But it is your own terminology. It should be there. I'm trying to look for an example, but let's say two fashion designers are having a discussion and somebody says, I can sew anything. I can sew skirt, I can sew blouse, I can sew trouser, I can sew this. Okay, great. But if I'm talking and I'm saying, oh, let's talk about corsets, darts, and princess darts. I'm not a fashion designer, but I have friends that do these things, and I hear them say these things. When that person is speaking, I might have not seen your work, I might have not seen anything that you've made, but from the way you're speaking, I know that you have a level of experience that another person does not have. So your CV should be able to convey you in that light. When you're writing your CV, it's important that you make research. What are the key terminologies in this area? What are the tools? What are the things that people will be looking out for? And don't lie, oh, don't say, oh, because these are things that people are looking out for. Put the ones that you have done. Put it there. The ones that you've not done, learn them. And as you do, update your CV, put it there so that when people open your CV, if they say we're looking for somebody that has done financial accounting, that is, good with general accounting principles, everything is plastered there on your CV. I don't have to think too much. I can see it. You are telling me that all these things that I'm looking for, you have it. There's no way you are not moving to the next step. There is no way that you are not moving to the next stage. Then, we can talk around this then. But from the CV, you have already presented yourself as somebody that is suitable for the role. So make sure that your CV passes the test for suitability. Carefully look through the job description. Don't just submit CV because you already have one CV. It's the standard CV that I did a lot of work with this CV. Look through it, understand it, switch up some things, put it again, and then apply so that you can pass the test for suitability. And then I also need you to understand that sometimes your CV is your only shot. Like I said, recruiters don't make the hiring decision. If I am told to hire an accountant, the accountant is not going to be working with me. I cannot exactly determine if the accountant is even a good accountant. All I have to do is just try and attract talent, look for people, and then I have to refer. If your CV, I'm reading it and I can see that everything that they are looking for is there, but your CV is not of good standard, and I know that the hiring manager is not going to cut. You see, you would need to understand that even recruiters, we too, we are employees, right? So we need to do our job well. I cannot give to an hiring manager a CV that will give him headache. So I can look at it and I can be so sure that you are qualified for this role. But if I'm seeing spelling errors or the layout is just horrible, I cannot refer you. You might be the most qualified person on my talent pool, but you will not be going to the next stage. And I know that sometimes, especially for fresh graduates, you might, in your mind, you might be saying, please, me. I can learn, I can do anything, I can come by 5 a.m. and leave by 7 p.m. I can make all of the sacrifices. I know we are all like that, especially when we're trying to get into the job market. But nobody's really listening to that. Nobody really knows. The only thing that can speak for you is your CV. If you really desire this job, if you are really looking for, an avenue to learn, let your CV speak about it. Let your CV tell anybody that's reading it that this person is really interested in this role. This person is up to something. It should be there, open to learning. It should be there. And not just that it's just there, open to learning. What are the things that you have learned? How can I see, projects? Can I see courses? Can I see anything to show that truly you are open to learning, or it's just there, open to learning, and I'm not seeing anything that you have learned? And then I'll now call you for interview, not tell me I'm a fast learner. So what happens to all of the time that you spend looking for a job? Do you understand? So your CV sometimes is the only shot that you have, and you just have to make sure that your CV represents you. Your CV says everything that you want the recruiter or whoever is coming across it, you know, you want them to know. Your CV says it all. Now let's talk about interviews. Some people are always scared about interviews, these, that, interviews. I'm scared, the nerves, and this and that. And I understand, I genuinely understand. Uh, Even me myself as a recruiter, I still go through interviews too because I am also an employee, like I already mentioned. I get how it can be with interviews, but I think you need to understand, like we already mentioned, that you need to do a mindset shift. when you're looking for a job, you also need to do a mindset shift in terms of interview. Interview is not an avenue to go hear questions and give them the best possible answers. Most times, what interview is about is first confirmation. We want to confirm that the things in your CV that you said that you did in your CV, you truly did them. We want to confirm that everything that your CV represents is truly alive in you. So if you're saying that you know how to use Excel, great. So tell us what you've done with Excel. Do you understand? You know how to use Microsoft Word. Okay, great. Tell us what you've done with that so that we can actually confirm that, okay, this CV correlates with this person that we are speaking to. So that's the first thing. And that would mean that when you're going for interviews, the first thing you want to do is go through your CV. Every point. If somebody takes your CV and says, "Oh, in your CV you said you increased revenue by 50%, blah 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 blah. Tell me, how did you do it?" It should not throw you off balance. You should not try to start thinking, "Oh, what are you saying? Oh my God, this question." Anything in your CV should be something that you can be able to defend. Let me just put it that way. Anything. Don't let CV writers put percentages and this. If they tell you, "How did you know it increased by 50%?" and you defend it, so it puts you in a fix. So just make sure that your CV is you, the things you've done. Truly, you can be able to provide context. Oh, we had these challenges, we did this, but we were able to achieve this. Anybody that is speaking to you during that interview knows that truly this person is who they say they are. And it doesn't make you tense because you're just saying, you're just speaking from your experience. Anybody that invited you for an interview has gone through your CV. They perceive that you're a great fit for the role. So you're not really going there to exactly prove yourself. You're just going there to confirm their perception. So don't go and start going through YouTube to look for questions and possible answers and da 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 da. Another thing that happens during the course of interviews is that a lot of interviews are less of trying to find out your skill set because they've seen it from your CV and they might just do a little bit around confirmation. They are looking for culture fit. Be human when you go for interviews. See, I have never failed an interview. I don't say that because this. And I would also tell you, I have never exactly thoroughly prepared for an interview. What is in my CV is what I have done. I am going to talk about myself. If you want to know about me, I am going to talk about myself. I don't really put so much attention to what the outcome is because you can even give me the offer and I'll reject it. So I'm not going there to go and desperately convince you the good fit for the role. But you know, I just go to make sure that at least they understand me and I am able to communicate myself. So that is one of the things that people are looking for. Culture fit. They want to know if you fit into their culture. They want to know if this person is a good team player. They want to know if you are in our team, will you be bored? If you are in our team, and you don't have to start cracking jokes if you are not a funny person. Stay true to your personality, but let your personality shine. Do you understand? Let your personality shine. Be yourself. Ask questions the way you would if you are talking to somebody. Be formal, right? Don't go there and start, just talking as if you're talking to your friend, but release the tension because if you are tense, they will see it. And sometimes it doesn't make it really suitable. Sometimes we try to understand, but another person might come in and the person might not be very tense. And the situation is just very smooth. And this thing is there are metrics to gauging it. So if I had a 10-10 session with somebody and I had a 9/10 with another person, I'm going for the best talent and I'm going for the 10-10. So just understand that sometimes they're not, if you don't know something, it's okay. It's okay. I've not worked around this. I've not learned this, but I'm open to learning, or I've done something similar. It's fine. Just explain. Don't ease that tension. They want to see more of culture fit. There are some interviews you go for, they will not even ask you anything around your skills. They'll start asking you, questions. What's your favorite food? Because they just want to get to know you to see if you fit their team. If their team is a team of bubbly people, they don't want somebody that's rude. They don't want somebody. Those are some of the things that they're looking for. And another thing that you want to take note of during interviews is that you want to display vision. You want to go to an interview as a person that has his own mind. You want to go to an interview and let them know that this is my own goal for my life. I am here because this job aligns with my goal for my life. They might not necessarily ask you question, where do you see yourself in 5 years, da, 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 da. But from the way you speak, people can tell that you're not just looking for a job, you have a picture ahead of you. It might not be clear, but they can tell that there's something that you're looking at. And when people see visionary people, they like them. They like to move with them because it just shows that you are progressing. You have somewhere you are going to. Say, for instance, I go for an interview and it's an HR role. Best believe I'm going to tell you about how it's possible I leave the space of HR because that's my own vision, right? I have my own goals. I am my own person. I've thought about my life. I have things arranged for me, the way I want things to play out. I mean, things can always change, but I have a goal for myself. This is what I want to be. This is what I want to become. And if I'm here because I think whatever you are proposing to me is going to take me a step further. It's going to propel me to where I want to be. So when I start telling you, oh, I'm also interested in business strategy, in that moment, I've taken ownership of that interview. I'm telling you about myself, and you have to listen. You just really have to listen. And it just makes it, very interesting because they then know that if you're coming into their team, they're not only getting an HR, they're also getting somebody that can step in another area, somebody that, can, if they need somebody to help with business strategy, they can say, oh, you know what, let's talk about this together. So it's important that personally you understand your vision and you display it when they talk to you and they say, oh, why do you want to take this role? Let's say you want to venture into HR and is an administrative role. Oh, this is my goal, but this is what you're offering. And I think if I start with administration, do you understand what I'm trying to say? So display vision, it makes it interesting. It makes them understand that it's not a robot. See, a lot of people come for interviews and they just try to do chat GPT or Richie, just try to, it's not necessary. Just have your own vision, have your own goals. And when people, I tell you for a fact, it leaves a different feeling to anybody that is communicating with you. Doesn't mean that you can get the job, but one thing I always tell myself, I leave every interview knowing that I did my best. Like me, I'm pleased with myself. You may not give me the job because I may not be fit for the role, but me, I must be convinced that I sold myself well, and that should be your drive to when you're going for interview. Make it about yourself. They want to hear from you, they want to learn about you. So just go and talk about yourself. Don't go and download information from YouTube, another person's responses, and start telling them. Let them know you and let them just know what you're bringing to the table. All right. So we might also want to utilize networking, especially for fresh graduates. You might want to utilize networking. You need to understand that people are doors. It's important to network, to connect with people. I used to be the kind of person that would join a group chat and never say anything. But when I started trying to get into the job market, I had to understand that I can't be low key. If you want people to notice you, you have to talk. You cannot say that people are not noticing you and you're not saying anything. You have to talk. You have to contribute. You have to join communities. Oh, I'm a graphic designer. Find communities of graphic designers. Be there. Contribute, even if it's little, even if it's for you to ask questions. Let your presence be registered. Reach out to people on LinkedIn. Comment on people's this thing. Let them know you. Let them just be aware that this person exists in my space, because being in the right room unlocks the right doors. Right now in the recruitment space, there's a lot of things that happen with referrals because, like I told you, it's very hard to find talent. When I put up a job ad and I get like 700 applications and I go through the first 500 and all of it is not even relevant, what I want to do is, oh, I'm hiring for an accountant. I know a good accountant. So I call him. Do you know somebody that is as good as you? Please link me up because I can't even do all of this again. So it's important that you're in the right room so that you can get access to doors that are exclusive. And if there's something that I would want us to get out of this session, I want you to understand that rejection is not failure. That you did not hear back from the recruiter doesn't mean that you are terrible or you don't have skills or you're not a good talent. A rejection email does not define your worth. It just means that you were not a match for that role, and that is fine. Like I said, Nigerians are very sentimental. So when you see we regret to inform you, you just immediately think, what did I do wrong? Sometimes you're good. You did good during the interview. Your CV is good. Everything is great, but there was just somebody better. And that's fine. You know, uh, say fresh graduates, and I'm trying to hire for a personal assistant, and I literally put out the post that I want somebody with no experience, experience is not needed, I can put you through. If I get 15 CVs, and out of those 15 CVs, 14 of them don't have any experience, right? And then there's one person that has experience in Excel, has experience in Word, teleconferencing to listen, just know that that's the person I will hire. Not because, oh, I'm compromising on what I said. If I interview that person and that person is not even a fit in terms of like personality, I can then consider other people. But everybody's looking for somebody to make work easier for them. So I would definitely go for somebody that I don't really need to put much effort in training. Do you understand? And we have a lot of things like that in the job markets right now. So they can tell you we're looking for 2 to 3 years of experience, and somebody with 10 years of experience will apply for that same role. Sometimes, you can let them go and say, oh, you are too qualified for this role. But sometimes it's a catch, because if you're willing to take this role with this amount, why not? Why won't I bring you into the system? As far as I can confirm that you are really what you are, what you have stated that you are in your CV, I would want to bring you into the system, because that means less work for me. I don't have to do too much training. I don't have to spend so much money on resources. You understand? So getting a rejection email does not necessarily mean the world is against you, or you are terrible, or you don't have talent. It just means that you were not exactly a match for that role, or they were other people. So what do you want to do? You want to press on. You want to keep applying. It's a game of numbers a lot of times. If you are just on one WhatsApp group chat, or only LinkedIn, or only Jobberman, you are wrong. There are more job boards. You have to expose yourself to a lot of channels that bring in these opportunities, and dedicate time to actually consistently, continually applying for jobs. And I can tell you for a fact, it's just a matter of time. With the right effort, with consistency, there are jobs waiting for you. You can find your place. It might not necessarily be the way everybody's doing it, everybody's getting it, but you can find your place. So, in conclusion, let's just note that the very first thing you need to know is that for you, if you believe it, there are opportunities. Yes, everybody says there are no jobs, but if you decide to work with that, you're gonna be subject to that. But if you believe, if you are able to move from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of possibility, I promise you, you will get the opportunities that you're looking for. Another thing you want to take note of is that you need to build daily. Anybody that wants to enter into the job market, even when you enter inside, you still have to continue building, or else you'll be secretary for 7 years and be collecting 150K for 7 years. Meanwhile, people will be growing in their career ladder. You need to understand that you have to be building daily, building your skills, building your confidence, building your value. And you need to trust your pace. Some people might finish NYC and get a full-time job. Some people might finish NYC and get a paid internship. Some people might finish NYC and start with volunteering. But all of these things are still channels into the job market. And sometimes you just need to trust your pace. And it's also important that you choose growth over fear. Don't think of the fear of interviews, fear of rejection, fear of this. Just decide to be your own person, to constantly devote and commit yourself to growth, and just put off the fear of what the Nigerian situation is like, and just decide to write your own story. I think another thing that I just want you to take note of is also that you also need to pray. If you're a religious person, if you believe in God, you you would really need that, right? You would really need that, because um like I already said, the market is competitive. Sometimes the skills are great, but then you also need an edge. You need an avenue where you can be asked a question and you know what to say. Sometimes these things don't come because you prepared enough, but sometimes they're spiritual edges. So you might really want to pray around everything that you do. You would want to involve God and allow Him to help you navigate through it. All right, so thank you. That will be all of um, my presentation for today, and I will just give room for Gbadebo to. Hi, Gbadebo. I can see that you're speaking, but your microphone You're
Yeah,
muted. I can't hear you.
I actually forgot my mic was muted. Thank you so much. Wow, that session was amazing. Thank you so much. Like you literally poured out everything. Because even prior to the start of the webinar, I already had some questions listed down, and you addressed every single thing. I'm like, what question will I ask you? I was like, what question will I ask you? I addressed everything. So wow, thank you so much for that. Thanks so much for that. And I believe there are people who are still with us who have questions. I want to believe that we have some questions. So please, if you have some questions, you can drop them in the comments in the chat section, or you unmute your mic and speak. So please, do we have anybody like that? If you have questions, maybe perhaps there was something she said you need clarity on, but there's something she didn't emphasize. That is okay. I'm seeing someone's hand being raised. All right. Sir Alex has a question. All right, sir. Please ask a question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yes, I
Yes, sir,
can.
we can.
All right. Thank you so much, Iremide. That was an insightful session, and I believe everyone who had we got a see on the other, and for those who get to what to do this. Like Volleyball said, you actually nailed it. Like the question that would have asked, seemingly I would have asked, you nailed it. But then I think there's a part of the thing you said I would like you to put clarity to. And thank you for sharing the CV, those CVs you said. I think some of us in that CV, probably know what the kind of things from our CVs and all of that. But I just want to ask, what's the balance from a cloudy CV, right? Like there's a lot of information. I mean, like you said, if you have to go through 1,000 CV, you can't spend so much time going through someone's CV. What's the balance? What is the decision between a crowded CV and for someone that has actually worked, has years of experience, has many knowledge, like you said, some of the tools you know in your CV, you don't know about it. So how do you balance someone's experience, years of knowledge, using the CV with all of that from someone who has a clouded CV? Is it the arrangements or is it the text? So what's the balance between those two? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alex, for that question. I think that's also a very important question to ask. There's definitely a balance to it because I would say that, especially considering the fact that the person might have gotten a whole lot of experience, I definitely want to see it. I want to, especially if I'm recruiting for somebody that has, that I need the person to have gotten a lot of experience. So I expect that the CV be crowded, right? But then there are ways to go around this thing. Like I said, what you want to look out for is to ensure that your CV is something that can catch the recruiter's attention and can actually make them want to take you to the next stage, right? So the very first thing, if let's say we're speaking for somebody that is not exactly with a lot of experience, so I personally am not expecting that your CV be crowded, but should you have certain things that you've done, certain projects that you've done that you want to explain in details, and you think that your CV is going to be crowded, you might want to really think of a good layout, right? You want to use a template that has a good layout because layout is really important. In the CVs that I shared, all of them did have details, but the layouts were different. They were not just organized. So there are some layouts that still contain your information. Sorry, some layouts still contain your information, but it packs it in such a way that when I'm looking for work experience, I can see it. It's clear, it's defined. I can see it properly. And when I'm looking for skills, I can see it. And it's not just, there's space, it's spaced out. I would have shared more CVs, but I didn't really prepare for that. If not, I would have shown you how it looks like sometimes. It is spaced out and it's not crowding me. I can just see it. So layouts is also very important. And another thing you want to work on is the summary. So if you have length of experience, right? You already have length of experience. I expect that your CV be crowded, but I might not have the patience to want to go through everything on that CV. So your summary is going to, your professional summary is going to help out in this case. You know, summary is summary. It's supposed to be precise, but you should be able to capture what you've done in essence, right? So I can tell from your summary that you have so years of experience. You've worked in this industry. You've worked with these tools. You've worked with this. You've worked with that. So from that summary, I want to engage. Do you understand? Whatever the rest of the content of the CV is would not be a problem for me because now I'm interested and I would want to read everything. But when I don't even really know what your CV is about and everything is just all up in my face like that, you might have the things that I'm looking for, but I will not have the patience to start looking through it. So you want to work on a good layout and you also want to work on a good professional summary. Another thing you want to do is make sure that you know your terminologies are very clear. So I want a CV that is plastered everywhere. I want terminologies to be plastered everywhere. So if I'm looking, I have gotten a job description and I've seen a lot of terminologies that even me I don't really know because I'm not in that field. But I open your CV and I can see it. I can just like it's just in bits and pieces, just in different places, but I can see it that oh, if I'm looking for B2C, there's B2C in this place. Great. If I'm looking for GAAP. Oh, I can see it in this place. So you might want to even compartmentalize it when it comes to skills. Add this, the tools you've done, the this you've done. I can see it from there. I am interested. So the point is, it's not necessarily about whether it is worthy or it's not. It's fine sometimes if it's worthy, especially if you have length of experience, but you just have to look at that CV carefully enough and determine by your own self that will this catch the attention of the person that wants to read it. I might have the, you know, proficiency and everything, but does this CV, grip their attention enough for them to want to now read the whole thing? So yeah, I think those are the things that you want to look at: the layout, the summary, and then the terminologies. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. I think that is well noted. So, and sorry, my second and final question, hopefully, is okay. You said something. Why it's your CV? You don't like, do not lie on your CV. Yeah. So, how do you balance, or how can one structure, yes, maybe you don't necessarily have the professional work experience required there, but then maybe you over time, because you of your volunteering positions and all of that, you've already gathered maybe these skills or a fraction of these skills. Can you factor that in as a professional experience, or will that be lying? So, for example, maybe the position of a PA, perhaps the job description is maybe 2 years or 3 years of experience as a personal assistant or something. This is a young guy. Officially, in terms of a paid role, he has not done a personal assistant, but perhaps maybe from church or from an NGO or something. This is someone that has done personal assistant or in a way has affected maybe an executive or the convener or something. And here you put that as a personal work experience or down the line, or how what's the best way to get about that?
All right, thank you very much. I think I already mentioned during the course of the session that what the market responds to is value, right? So if I'm looking for a personal assistant and I say that I want somebody with cognitive experience, that's one thing. I want somebody that has worked as a personal assistant, and that might not be debatable for me. It might not be negotiable for me. That might be something that I'm looking for at that moment, right? In that case, if you've done something similar, you can apply. I mean, you can always apply because you don't know the kind of people that are going to apply. But best believe that if I find somebody that matches my preference in that situation, I am going to go with that. All right. And then there are cases where I'm recruiting for a personal assistant and I say that I want proven experience, right? I want not necessarily PA, and I don't care about the timeline. I just want you to be able to prove to me that you worked in this area before or anything similar. You do not have to put on your CV that, oh, I worked as a personal assistant when you didn't. What you would need to do is to highlight the skills that you've gotten and the things that you did, where you worked, in the capacity that you worked, and how you think it aligns with what you're looking for. So, say I worked as an office assistant, right? And somebody is recruiting for a personal assistant. Those are quite different in terms of like the terminology, but in the scope of the job, they can be very similar because who owns the office is somebody, right? And it could be that I'm just working as a secretary, I'm working as a secretary, I'm arranging files, I'm setting meetings, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm literally doing the work of a personal assistant, but I don't have to now put on my CV and lie that I work as a personal assistant. I can put office assistant slash personal assistant, or just leave it as office assistant or secretary as it may be. So when they go through your CV, beyond the job title, they also want to see the skills, right? Some people might have the job title and they don't have anything. So if another person has worked as a personal assistant, it's there on their CV, but then I am not seeing anything about um collaborative workspaces. I'm not seeing anything about Google Workspace. I'm not seeing anything about Microsoft. I'm not seeing, and then there's another person that has worked as a secretary and he's telling me that, oh, I know how to plan travel arrangements, I know how to do this. I have what I'm looking for. And I will always advocate for honesty. In To be truthful, I would always advocate that you be honest. Anything on your CV that you cannot defend, there are times that you can even put it there that you worked as a personal assistant, right? And go through the stages of the interview and they think of you as a good fit. And when it's time for previous employee or employer verification, your employer will say, oh, he was not my PA. So now you have passed a message to the people that recruited you that you are dishonest, and nobody wants to hire a dishonest person. So you want to just highlight your skills, right? You want to show them that you have value, even if it's not in that area, but you can translate it into that area. You want to let them see how similar it is, but you also want to be honest. You want to be very honest when it comes to putting yourself forward. You are your own brand ambassador, so you don't want your brand to be having integrity issues even as a fresh graduate. So yeah, I think that would be it.
Yes. So that's all about you. Yeah, more questions. Maybe
All right, thank you. All right, so thank you so much for the questions. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Remedy, for the answers you gave as well. I also have just one question quickly before we wrap up. All right, so I think um at presently we're actually in the age of social media, and there's usually this emphasis as people saying, okay, you have to have a strong social media presence. If you want to get jobs, you have to have, yes, there are some things some recruiters pay attention to, perhaps maybe your LinkedIn profile, or like me, for example, now I'm a graphic designer. You can say, oh, okay, you have to be posting content on your social media stuff so that people can see it, or recruiters can see it, and from there you can maybe position yourself well, or that's one of the ways you can position yourself well. I just want to ask, is it something recruiters pay attention to? Do they pay attention to the social media presence of people? Like, I know, because there are some specific roles, like take for example, okay, content creator or graphic designer, like I said, those are roles that has to do with social presence. So do they actually recruiters pay attention to that aspect, or they just stay strictly with your CV? Do they actually go through the social media presence of people they are interested in?
Right, thank you, Badibel. I think that they do. Um, in reference to your question, your social media presence is important. If you can build the social media presence, it is highly advisable that you do so. I get that, some of us may not exactly be people that like to put ourselves out, but like I already said during the session, that if you want to, thrive in the job market, you might want to fight the need to be low key, because there's something called awareness, right? I think people that do brand management, they know these things, right? So brand awareness is very important. And also for your career, it's also important that people that may need your services are aware that you are present. And in recruitment, we say that they are active candidates and they are passive candidates. Active candidates are the people that will apply to your job adverts. Passive candidates are the ones that they did not apply, but they you still engage them in the process of that recruitment. And how do we get passive candidates? Sometimes by referrals, and a lot of times by just social media presence. So LinkedIn is even everybody knows that head hunting happens a lot in LinkedIn. So people just go to LinkedIn and I've been seeing your post, you've been talking about this. So the moment they ask me to recruit somebody that is in your line, the first person that comes to my mind is, oh, this person I've been seeing. I know there was a time I needed to recruit coppers, and I just remember that, oh, they were just a couple of people on my Twitter page talking about how they're looking for PPAs. And I just reached out to them, and that was sealed. Yes, definitely, I will get their CVs, but if I had just posted the advert, they might not come across it and they might not be able to apply. But because I had seen, I had seen over time on timeline that they've been looking for PPAs, and I was able to do that. Same with, and it's not just LinkedIn, right? It's not just LinkedIn. Anywhere that you can have the opportunity to talk about yourself, to talk about what you do, please do so, because you don't really know who is watching. When people start looking for people or looking for certain roles that relate to you, because of the awareness that you have built, you will cross their mind. They cannot decide to reach out to you or not, or best believe you will cross their mind. If I have seen a graphic designer on my page and the person is posting, oh, I designed this, I designed that, not necessarily to even sell himself, but just really talk about his passion for graphic design. The moment they tell me to recruit a graphic designer, best believe I'm reaching out to that person. Or are you available? This is the role that I have. This is the pay. This is the structure. Is this something that you want to work with? I already have enough evidence to determine if this person is fit in my own books. And then, in the process of referring to the hiring manager, things might be different, but social media presence is very important. Everybody works on social media now, everybody is on social media now. So you really want to work around your brand awareness to let the um space that you want to influence know that you are present, because if they don't, they can't give you the opportunities that you're looking for.
All right, thank you, Ma. Thank you so much for that response. Thank you. Um, I believe we've come to the end of this webinar. Yeah, I don't think there are any further questions on the group, on the chat section. No. All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. And I believe I speak for everybody that I've actually gained a whole lot from the things that you've said. Yeah, the major thing that stood out for me was the fact that you said we have to actually understand the industry. It's one thing to want to apply to an industry, it's another thing to understand what the industry actually requires from those who actually want to apply. Then also the fact that you said we have to offer value. Yes, we shouldn't just put things on our CV that we can't do. Yes, we should be able to defend everything that we put on our CV. Our CV should be who we are, not just a paper that we write and submit to apply. It should be who we are, so that in case we are called for maybe to have an interview or we are questioned as regards anything we put there, we can actually defend it. Yes, so those are the things that actually stood out for me. And I believe there are so many other things that you say that are core things that we have to pay attention to. And I want to believe that every one of us were able to take notes of those things. Yes, but this is at the beginning of the webinar, she said that knowing the rules, yeah, would help you build strategies on how to win. And being here in this webinar is actually one of those ways you are knowing it, because she spoke about a lot of things, yes. And if you're able to apply these things that she has said, yes, if you're able to apply these things that she has said, I believe you'll be able to win. Yes, you'll be able to win. And closing, as just like she closed with in her slides, she said rejection is not, you're not your rejections. I think she mentioned something like that in one of the slides. Yes, we should not give up. Yeah, I know there are many of us who have perhaps applied several times and we've not gotten a favorable response. I just want to believe that from the things she has said, I'm sure you'd have seen some of your mistakes, some of the things you need to work on. And I trust, I trust God that even as you begin to apply these principles she has said, you will begin to see even favorable responses, I believe. Yes, favorable responses from our job applications. Yes, so thank you so much, everybody. It's special, big thank you to Iremide. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Yeah, so just on a side note, I knew Iremide. I knew Iremide from service. Yes, from my friend in service, both serving Abia State. Yeah, and she's such a wonderful person. Thank you so much for taking our time to be here. And big thank you to my Oga, that is Sorex. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this platform to have this webinar. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who joined. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, we did this for you and you came. So we appreciate you. And we also want to let you know that the recorded link for this webinar will be available. So perhaps you have a loved one, you have people who you would want to share this with, the link will be made available, yes, on our HR platform. We actually have our HR platform. And I believe the platform will be posted in the chat session. Yes, I believe the links to our social media handles and our platforms will be posted in the chat section. Let me just quickly do that while we round up so that in case you want to get the link or you just want to be part of our community, you can do that as well. So yes, so let me just quickly get that link and post it on the platform so that before we end this call, you can join in. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it. All right, I've seen it. Okay, so we're actually on IG, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on X. That's formerly known as Twitter. You know, I still can't get. Okay, it's up on the chat session. So you can just head straight to the chat session and see the links. You can just copy it, yeah, copy them and join. We'll be glad to have you, and we believe that as a result of this webinar, your career will you would up your career game and you would have a very fruitful time in the job market, in the job industry. Thank you so much once again and have a wonderful night's rest and have a great week ahead as well. Yes. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Iremide, once again. Bye.
Thank you, Iremide. Thank you everyone for your time. Goodbye.